Black mass, man, it's time to rob. I had to find a way, I couldn't find a job. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. Black mass, man, it's time to rob. I had to find a way, I couldn't find a job. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God.
All right, welcome back to Urban X TV. We have the Black Dot in the building.
Peace. Pleasure, as always.
So this is highly anticipated. Everybody wanted to know your opinion on what happened this past weekend with Colin Kaepernick's NFL workout, or his personal workout.
Yes.
Because we all know the NFL thing kind of fell through at the 19th hour.
Right.
So everybody just wanted to get your opinion, because right now emotions are high. People don't know who to be mad at. Everybody's arguing with everybody. And the common theme I'm seeing is everybody is just looking for something to be mad at or someone, but they have no clue of what it is that they're actually mad at. You know
that lends to the fact that this is a psyop.
Okay.
Anytime something is taking place on this scale and the results of it have nothing to do with the bearing on your existence, lets you know that this is a psyop. What do I mean by that? Whether Kaepernick plays football or not, how does your life benefit?
Right.
How is your life going to be better whether he's throwing touchdowns or not? It doesn't. But yet you're engaged in it, and online they are the good cop, bad cop, good commentator, bad commentator. It's all a part of a psyop. And we have to stop conjuring this nigga's name, because what happens is we start to deify Colin Kaepernick. And he starts becoming a symbol of hope, or hope-amine, as I like to speak about. He starts becoming a symbol for justice and peace and all of these things. And, he becomes martyred.
Right.
And we got to be careful when we do that. We did that with Nipsey Hussle, in my humble opinion. No disrespect to Nipsey Hussle's contributions, but a funeral at the Staples Center and everybody acting the way they was acting was a little bit over the top.
Right.
And it goes to demonstrate again that we have not freed ourselves mentally to understand and overstand some of the things that are taking place, you know what I'm saying,
Yep.
in that effect. So what I want to say is I want to make something clear. This is my last time speaking about Colin Kaepernick. Today and tonight on our show,
right.
Podcast 72, the absolute last time, because I think I've covered it over the last couple of years extensively and given people my thoughts and views, however unpopular they are on the subject. Has nothing to do with Colin Kaepernick per se. He's an individual, but it has to do with the way our people are responding to somebody who took a knee. Taking a knee is equivalent to singing "We Shall Overcome." It's equivalent to sitting in restaurants and having white people spit on you and smack you and you turn the other cheek, in my humble opinion, right? Because there's nothing dominant, there's nothing revolutionary about taking a knee. The first time I ever even heard about this taking a knee thing was being a Pop Warner dad, coming to your football games, and when a player got hurt,
Right.
We took a knee, and then when he got up, we clapped. I also heard veterans do that to honor their fallen soldiers, and I respect that, and that's where Colin Kaepernick originally got the idea from.
So he says.
So he says.
Yeah.
So, but there is nothing after 400 years of oppression in this country that taking a knee makes me feel liberated. So we're going to start there. I want to make something abundantly clear. If you kneecapping and that's your thing, and you support and you stand with Cap, even though he didn't stand for himself, if you stand with Cap, that is your right to do so. I am not here to change your opinion. I just need you to respect my opinion, to not do so and see things otherwise in the grand scheme of things, in the way I've been taught to process information. Yes?
Right.
Okay, I want to make something else abundantly clear so that there's no confusion with this. The NFL does not want Colin Kaepernick playing in it, and he does not want to play in it. And that's where the confusion starts. We are arguing and in agreement almost at the same time, right?
Right.
It's clear the NFL does not want Colin Kaepernick to play. They don't need Colin Kaepernick to play.
Right.
For the first time ever in the history, I've been watching football since 1977. This is the first time they have 10 starting quarterbacks who are black. At least 10. I'm going to name them for you. Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson,
Right.
Kyle Murray,
Kyler Murray, yeah.
Jameis Winston, Cam Newton when he's healthy,
Mariota, he was
Russell Wilson,
Yep.
the quarterback for the Washington Redskins, is a starter now.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teddy Bridgewater started 5 or 6 games while Drew Brees was out. And then there is another one I'm missing. It'll come to me. But that's enough to make my point.
Right.
If you've been watching football as long as I have, that's 1/3
And
of the NFL.
they're the top, at least top 4 of the top 5 quarterbacks are black right now.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
right now at this. And I think they purposely did that so that we can't look at Colin Kaepernick and say he's being racially profiled or discriminated against from a racial standpoint. Yes?
Right.
Because that's impossible when 10 of the quarterbacks are starting, right? So let's get that out of the way too. So
Brissett. Jacoby
Brissett.
Yeah, that was who.
Brissett, the one from the Colts,
Yep.
was the one that I was missing. Perfect, and he's a starter.
Yeah.
Never in the history of the NFL have I seen that many black quarterbacks being the face of a franchise. Yes?
Right.
So the NFL doesn't need Colin Kaepernick. They fill the void.
Right.
Right? It's obvious by his actions he does not want to play in the NFL, because what I want to do today is remove all of the racism behind this, because this may not be as racist as you think. It just may be corporate business, right? This is about the money. Follow the money. So I'm going to spend some time. You know how Black Dot do. I'm going to be all over the place. I'll glance down at my notes from time to time. But I'm going to try to paint this picture for you so you understand what's going on here. Yes?
Yep.
So if you show up at a job interview, any job interview, right, in corporate America, I want to distinguish the two.
Right.
All right? So if you are not on corporate code, this is what we're going to call it. This is what Stephen A. Smith is talking about. If you are partaking in anything corporate, you know there is a code involved with that, right? Now, there's also Keep It Real code, Street Nigga code, Black Power code. If you want any of those codes, this lecture does not relate to you. You can turn the camera off now because you are operating in a different frequency. If you are going to take that mindset, Keep It Real, Street Nigga code, Black Power code, and try to fuse it into a corporate paradigm, this is where the problem begins, right? Black people have a tendency to feel that they're owed something, yes? And that this is their right. The NFL is not your right. It is a fucking privilege. And I don't care how you dress it up. The average person in the NFL makes $480,000. Average. That means the dude sitting on the bench cheering.
Right.
The last thing on the bench is making $500,000. For those who want to say that this is a plantation, that the NFL, that shit is a plantation, I have never woken up in a cold sweat and said, keep it down, nigga, keep it down. What's wrong, daddy? The NFL is outside and they looking for running backs. Shush. I just don't want to be a running back. Never, right?
Yeah.
So let's stop with the plantation buzzword shit. But if you want to keep it real, straight nigga, Black Power shit, anything corporate is the enemy to you. Yes?
Right.
So you have a different mindset, and post-traumatic slave syndrome is running rampant in this whole conversation, because we have saturated ourselves in victim consciousness. So what those people see is a black man going up against the system. He changed the narrative on them. They wanted him to do this, but he said, nah, he did that. But then that means he did not want a job in corporate America. So let's remove a lot of the spookism. This is for you at home, the ones who want to be honest. If you were going into corporate America to get a job, I'm pretty sure you would have a suit on, your nails would be clean, you'd probably have a watch on. This is what I teach my sons, to be conscientious of the time, that when they're being interviewed, you keep straight eye contact, you answer these questions, you give firm handshakes, and that you research the company before you get there. These are the things that I teach my sons and anybody else that I'm working with, young people, if you are going to enter into a corporate structure, because those are the rules of the game. That's just it. And if the interview went well, I might say, all right, you send them a little thank you note. Thank you for interviewing with me. And then once you get into the company, you know what the company does? They say, all right, we have something called orientation, which we give you the rules and regulations of how we work here. And you can look around and see people are dressed this kind of way, bam, bam, bam. You would not show up at an interview in corporate America with your beads on, the ankhs, you know what I'm saying, your dashiki and all of that, and be talking the way you want to talk. Don't run for me, employer. You would not do that if you truly wanted a job. So right. Stephen A. Smith is absolutely correct. This man did not want a job with the NFL, irregardless of what the NFL laid out. And the NFL don't want him, so they created this crazy waiver, right? Now, inside their waiver, what they were doing was protecting themselves from him suing them again. He already sued them, right? First time on you, second time on me, right? There's an old saying out in Texas, Tennessee. First time, you can't win again. You can't get me again, right? Yep. And that just simply means that if you sued me and now you're back in any one of my facilities, I might have to put a few other provisions in place to ensure you don't sue me again. There are habitual suers.
And from what I saw, the provision, they were pretty
straightforward.
Pretty straightforward, yeah.
And just said you are not guaranteed employment here. Like if you come into office, it doesn't guarantee you, and they have to do that because he already fucking sued them.
Right.
Now, that's another mindset. I don't know too many people who sue you because of discrimination or collusion and then show back up at my door for a fucking job. You already got the money. Run. Right? Which brings me to the Kuta Kente shirt. You show up with a workout with a Kuta Kente. Now, I'm old enough to remember Roots. That shit changed my life. That shit fucked me up as a kid. Kuta Kente kept trying to run away from the plantation. That was his whole thing. He kept running away until they said, look, nigga, we gonna chop your foot off, nigga. Right? So by him wearing this Kuta Kente shirt, saying he's not Toby, the house nigga, he represents the field nigga, but the field nigga kept trying to get away from the plantation. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. You are running back toward the plantation, and now you're galvanizing all the other slaves on the plantation to give you a job back on the plantation. Look, master, I could bale more cotton than the rest of these dudes. I'm just as fast as cutting down these trees. So whenever you see him in his workout and he's throwing 50-yard bombs, that means absolutely nothing. I know niggas in the hood who could throw 50-yard bombs. Doesn't mean they can read NFL defenses, recognize when the blitz is coming, know when the hit, throw down on the flat, recognize this is a double. None of that shit, right? 3 years away from the game as well, you know, is very, you know, that's a long time away from the game of football, right? And if he was applying for a job, let's just be simple. He's applying for a backup job, yes?
Right.
So there are no starting jobs available at this point in the year. We're halfway through the season. Everybody pretty much has their starters. So you're applying for a backup position, yes?
Right.
And in this backup position, in hopes that maybe somebody gets hurt, you don't hope another player get hurt, but you're ready. to step in case they get hurt and, throw touchdowns, right? Now, he is toying with modernism and mortality, all right? Modernism, if he never plays again and you niggas keep building and conjuring this nigga name up, you keep elevating him to a level of modernism. But if he gets back on that field and he ain't shit, because first of all, I went over his career stats. He was terrible.
He was average,
average
at best. Yeah.
59% completion rate. His QBR the last 3 years was 43%, 47%, and 60%. His winning loss record is 28 wins and 30 fucking losses. So he has a losing record as a starting quarterback. His playoff record is 4-2, which is pretty decent. The 1 year he went to the Super Bowl, let's just be real.
Yeah.
They was getting their ass handed to him.
Yep.
Right? By the Ravens. And then Beyonce performed.
Yep.
Wink, wink. The lights went out.
Yep.
And all of them 300-pound linebackers, atrophy kicked in. All that Ben Gay and all that shit they used to rev themselves up. And by the time they got their motors running again, the 49ers had put together a little streak. You know how, if you watch anything with sports, momentum is a hard thing to break.
Right.
So they grabbed a little momentum and it came down to a play in the end zone and it wound up being a great Super Bowl. Yes?
Right.
But prior or anything after that, he did nothing superior.
And the point I've always brought back, he lost his starting position.
Thank you. He lost his starting position.
To Blaine Gabbert.
Who's
not even in the league right now.
He's not even in the fucking league right now, right? We don't want to address those issues. We also, because I'm bouncing around, don't want to address the issues that when he put up his $1 million for his cause, according to Marcellus Wiley, the owner of the 49ers matched his $1 million and then got all the police chiefs in that area and the churches to get together, and your boy didn't show up. I don't hear nobody talking about that, right? This is what you wanted, yes? Because this is what I want y'all to understand, how important the quarterback position is. The quarterback is the face of the franchise, yes?
Right.
The quarterback has to resonate with white kids, black kids, disabled kids, veterans, cancer patients. The quarterback, when they give you that $100 million contract, you know what they say? We want you to just show up 4 times a year, shake some hands, pick up some babies, do all of those things because, the NFL likes to give back. And watch this, whatever cause you have, we'll support that too. If you want to save the pigeons or whatever, we'll put some money behind that too. But we need our quarterback, whether white or black. This is corporate talk I'm talking. I'm not talking street nigga, keep it real, black power talk. That is a separate conversation. You need to tune out of this, right? Because you're not going to understand what we're talking about. Because the war that we're in is in corporate America, the churches, is everywhere. And we need point men everywhere. But we have created this condition that anything dealing with corporate America is the enemy. Well, if you were selling CMOS, right? Mm-hmm. And you selling in the hood, that's, but let's say your CMOS is really good. And now people in Chicago, Detroit, California want this CMOS. How the fuck you gonna get it there? You're gonna need distribution. Yes, that's a corporate thing. You're gonna need stores to carry your shit. That's a corporate thing. So even in your black power, I'm trying to, do this, there comes a point where your interface with corporate America is inevitable if you're trying to take your business to super heights. Now, if you got a little, soul food spot in the hood and, but you struggling, what I'm saying? You barely making ends meet with that. So the quarterback, whether white or black, represents more because that's the ticket holders,
right?
The season ticket holders. And we want that quarterback to represent our values. Now, just from a corporate standpoint, put your corporate hat on. Do you want Huey P. Newton or Khalid Muhammad representing your corporation if it is a corporation for everybody? Yes or no? The answer is going to be no if you be honest, because that's going to fuck up business. Let's just keep it a buck. So a lot of this angst about black people making targets and Stephen A. Smith, who I don't agree with too often, but I do agree with him here. He's simply saying, And this is what Stephen A. Smith has to recognize. You can't chastise black people. If you chastise, it doesn't matter if you right or wrong. Bill Cosby tried that shit years ago. And when I went over Bill Cosby's notes, everything he said was true. Now, he may have been hypocritical in some of the things he did earlier in his life, does not negate the fact that you need to pull your pants up, that you need to take care of your kids, that you need to know how to fucking read. Right? But when you chastise black people, and you're chastising them from the platform of what they feel is the establishment, they will come after you with everything they have. And Stephen A. Smith is simply saying, if you are going to play by this game, there are rules to this game. Malcolm, there are rules to basketball. I can't just fucking tackle you, right? You get 2 steps on a layup. You know the rules of the game. You can't just make your own rules up because you feel like it.
Right.
That's the audacity of black people today. And because Stephen A. Smith was saying, cool, if you're going to play this corporate game, I make $8 million a year, nigga, for talking shit. That's the most gangster shit I ever seen. Barbershop talk. This shit is barbershop talk.
Right.
I could be making $8 million. Me and Eli show it the world according to Eli. We have just as much say as Stephen A. Smith does, right? But he parlayed his shit in corporate America into $8 million a year. Yes?
Right.
And he's telling you, in my time being in the enemy lines, behind enemy lines, I've seen more than you can imagine. I've done more than you can imagine. And I'm simply telling you, if you come in, these are the rules you play by. Now, once you get in, certain rules can be bent and certain rules can be broken. You know how the matrix works. But you have to get in. You can't come in at the door talking about fuck the powers that be and expect me to give you a job. Eric Reed.
He's a clown.
Is the worst shit I've ever seen. But he's a snapshot of how black people feel. Black people feel I can literally bite the hand that feeds me. He getting 2 checks from the NFL. He getting a suit.
Settlement check.
He got a settlement, and he's getting a fucking paycheck, and yet he's still saying this shit is the plantation. That's like you coming to my house, eating my food, me putting you up, giving you a place to stay, and you step outside of my house and tell me I ain't shit. Tell everybody I ain't shit. And every 2 weeks, because you get paid every 2 weeks, you come back and do the same shit. Come eat up my food, wear my clothes, and then tell me I'm not shit. What? Who does that? But black people who feel that they are privileged, or, you know what I mean? So this dopamine shit has galvanized people. He has become a symbol of some shit that if he gets his job back, we win. Process this. We are begging Massa to take a slave back on the plantation, according to y'all. And if we get the slave back on the plantation, our lives are better. How? So how has Colin Kaepernick and what he's going through, let's not forget the original cause.
Right.
Had nothing to do with him getting a job. That's how I know this is a psyop operation, right? He was talking about unarmed kids, black teens being gunned down, right?
Right.
We have forgot all about, nobody has mentioned that anymore. Now it's about his fight against the NFL, right? So he came out, he did his thing, and gave his speech. They need to stop running. Nigga, go play in the XFL if you want to play football, if it's that serious. Go show and prove. So, neither one of them care about each other. The NFL does not want it, and he does not want to be in the NFL.
Yeah, I think the NFL dropped the ball on trying to erase this whole situation. If they really wanted to, give it a fair look, at least in the public, they would have gave him more time and things like that.
Yes.
And
yes.
But from what I'm hearing, like the NFL kind of acquiesced to a lot of what he was asking for.
And he could have just had his lawyers just come out with a statement. We have refused this due to short notice,
right,
and due to the circumstances involved. We have decided that this is not a perfect situation for us, and we decline the NFL's Boom. Bam. No, but you decided to wait till the last minute and then move it somewhere
60 miles away.
60 miles away and have your cameras going.
Yeah.
Now, the NFL don't ever film these workouts. First of all, they've never had a one-person workout in the history. They bring players in, let's say, we short a linebacker.
For a specific team.
For a specific team, not all the teams gathering. And this might have something to do with Jay-Z, right? Mm-hmm. Which I think Jay-Z they're going to raise Jay-Z up and give him a team or give him part ownership. So I do believe where there was smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
So, but Jay-Z recognized all the bad press he was getting, so they quieted that down. But as he's coming into 2020 and he's ready to acquiesce and make his next move, he needs to close that door. He needs to have people in favor of him again. See, Jay-Z has tried to weave through the corporate world and the street world better than anybody, yes?
Right.
All of his street lyrics, even though he ain't been in the street in 20 years, represent street, but his business moves are corporate. He's trying to show you niggas that you have to wear different hats based on whatever realm you in. Yes?
Right.
He has figured this thing out. Whatever realm you are in, you have a role to play in that, in that position, just based on the way everything is structured.
Right.
Right? So Jay-Z weaving in and out, knowing, oh shit, let me get Colin Kaepernick, because according to Bleacher Report, Jay-Z had some say-so in this, and Jay-Z was upset, according to TMZ, that Colin Kaepernick made a mockery of this situation. You know what I mean?
Right.
So let's not discount Jay-Z's situation, because people don't know if they should be mad at Jay-Z.
They're confused.
Now they mad at Stephen A. Smith, and Stephen A. Smith is just saying, stay off the weed. In context, meaning, I'm not saying you can't smoke weed. I'm saying if the NFL say you can't smoke it because you're going to fuck up your $15, $20 million contract, you need to stay off the weed. That's what your mother would tell you. So why is it an issue? And then now they got, the white dude stood up against all of that shit is psyop shit. You know what I'm saying? Max Kellerman taking the polar opposite position. Why shouldn't he be able to take a knee? I'm going to go back to my original statement. And this brings it all home so that you understand sometimes you have to simplify this shit. If you owned a business, one that maybe took you 10 years to get the money up for, right? And outside of your establishment, the Hebrew Israelites, I hate saying that, let's say the Scientologists or whoever are outside of your establishment because it is their right to do so. And they're fucking up business and nobody wants to come into your establishment. How would you feel about that? Let's remove all the racism, how would you feel when you got a daughter in college and you got to pay this rent up in here and, they scaring customers away? You'd be pissed about that.
Right.
So quantify that times 1,000. The NFL is a business, and the NFL didn't shoot any kids. See how, again, the psyop got you looking at the NFL as the bad guy, and now they're going to have you looking at Stephen A. Smith as the bad guy. Everybody but the fucking police are the bad guys now, right? So, but imagine having your business, right? And you're paying Colin Kaepernick $14 million a year, and he's fucking up business for whatever reason. He's taking the knee. He's doing all this. At the bottom line is fucking up business. And then you don't fire him. You just don't renew his contract. He opts out because he feels he can get more money somewhere else. And the other 32 teams say, this is the checklist. I need my quarterback to be able to, relate to white kids, black kids, veterans, cancer patients, disabled, gay people, because, they run all these. I need my quarterback to be in line with that. But now I have a quarterback who's not in line with that. He has his own agenda, which does not mix with mine. Has nothing to do with him being a black guy. This shit it's not good for business. So the other 32 teams, other 31 teams go, nah. Because this ain't a linebacker or a wide receiver who got a bandana on that maybe for a cause. This shit may not even be an issue if it was. But whenever it's the quarterback, this is the general This is the one on the court, on the field that leads, right? And imagine you get into a huddle, because first of all, linemen are always white, most of them, because that's the least athletic position on the field.
Right.
The white guys is protecting who? The quarterback, right? And they'll protect the nigga if they believe in him. Imagine you get in this and it's Huey P. Newton. He don't like white people. You know what I'm saying? And this and that. I got to protect this nigga? Stop. You follow what I'm saying? So there are levels to this that if we remove post-traumatic slave syndrome, which is hard to do, and stop seeing ourselves as the victim in every situation, because there are some people who are just gonna be like, I don't give a fuck. That's the establishment. That's my man, Kaepernick. And it could just simply be about business. You know what I mean? And how we can keep making this money.
Right.
And we turn this shit into something. This shit is bizarre.
Yeah,
This is some
it's all
bizarre
over the
shit.
place.
Because he got the money. Nigga, you got the money. You ran away from the plantation. Go fight your cause. Now you have the free time to go fight your cause every day. And I ain't seen this nigga taking a kneel at one fucking police precinct yet. Which I said he should have did from the beginning. If this was really about kids, you get 8 road games a year. You could have your people find the statistics of the worst precincts. If y'all going to Baltimore, boom, boom. And he could have stood out there and took a knee and brought the press with him. The press loves this shit. They would have ate this shit. Kaepernick, why are you out here doing this? Well, this police precinct has the highest rate of, you know what I'm saying, complaints against, and I wanted to bring attention. Nigga, that shit is dope, right? That's not what he did. He's bringing attention to himself, and use the platform of the NFL. And if you have, and for everybody out there, if you think it is your right to take up political causes or whatever at your job, then do it. How come everybody in America is not just taking a knee at their job? It's your right to do so, yes? You won't do that shit because you get fired, right? If you came into the office with some dashikis and shit on, all of a sudden, and that's not the dress code, and you was burning sage at your desk, they may not fire you right away, but they be like, what the fuck's up with this nigga? And we're going to start doing shit because that's not what we do here. No different than what you do on a football field. The referee is there because you violated the rules. So let's not make this some supernatural shit where we're deifying a nigga who Afro don't even stand up. Fuck what you say. That nigga Afro don't stand up. It don't stand the test. In my humble opinion, you may say that's some petty shit. I'm just keeping it a buck. I know what a motherfucking black power Afro look like. Questions?
Eric Reed, he posted a picture on Twitter of the I Stand With Kaepernick jersey, the Nike joint, and some Kaepernick sneakers that are coming out. Mm-hmm. And it just seems like that whole thing is just kind of like promotion material.
And don't forget he got the bag from Nike too.
Yeah.
He had a $30 million bag from Nike. He had a settlement. Dude, you know, and now you're acting like you want to come back to the NFL for a backup position. This ain't mid-season or coming into the new season where you feel you can beat somebody out for a starting position. And don't tell me how great he looked, because I know niggas in the hood who can throw the ball 60 yards.
On air. Right?
On the air like this. Does not mean that they are in game shape. So let's get some questions. Any questions on that?
I wanted to know, what would your response be to somebody who just saying like this is just about, oppression or, them keeping a black man down?
How? I just they don't run you down in the street and force you to play in the NFL.
Right.
You work your way to the NFL.
Right.
So even if it is a slave plantation, it is voluntary. You chose to make $500,000 chasing other motherfuckers down or catching touchdowns. So what oppression? Stop lumping, this is what I mean, lumping everything that we've been in over 400 years into a situation where a fucking person who didn't, Jay-Z said it best, this wasn't even about a job. turn this shit into him fighting a system, because what on paper what it looks good. Him going against the system. What system? This 85% of the players in the NFL are black, and they get paid well. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is, if you're gonna be on a plantation, at least be on one that pays well, right? Because we can look at everybody's job and call it a plantation. You flipping burgers making $15 an hour, the owner is a millionaire. You're on a fucking plantation, right? So if we want to get technical about plantation and all of this buzzword talk, we can't move forward because of this kind of mentality and this kind of talk.
Yeah, I saw a clip of T.O. saying Max sounds more black than Stephen A. Smith, and people were loving that.
Yeah. They love that kind of talk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They love that kind of talk because Stephen A. Smith, who, like I said, I do not agree with everything Stephen A. Smith says, but I don't agree with everything anybody says.
This had me agreeing with Whitlock.
Yeah, I didn't. Whitlock was on it.
Yeah, I don't like him.
You know what I mean? So it gets you to the point where sometimes it's not about what you making it into something it's not, and sometimes it's simply just about money. You bring in attention to my corporation. We sell popcorn here. We sell hot dogs, and we watch people crush each other's fucking head in for entertainment. It's what we do. And when I come to a game, that's what I want to see. And you are saying you want to use this platform to bring attention, and now you got the attention, and I don't hear nothing about the kids no more.
Right.
Absolutely nothing. Remember, he had the chance to get with the Ravens, too, before Lamar Jackson. And his girl decided to put up some memes, and so they do not want to get to the NFL. His stance is greater by not being in the NFL. And I said that before. I mean, because if you come back, so when he come back, what are you going to do? Just stay in the locker while they sing the national anthem? Or how's that going to work? Because on code mean on code. I remember Craig Hodges for the Chicago Bulls came to the White House in African garb and handed either the president or one of his dignitaries a note about, injustices. He ain't been in the league since. And he was a 3-time 3-point shooter. Mahmoud Rauf. Remember, the Muslim dude, he ain't been in the league. They bounced him around. The NFL and NBA don't have that problem because it's in the rule book, right?
Yeah.
But look at Antonio Brown now. He just apologized to Robert Kraft and them, right?
Yeah.
Because he realized that slave plantation money of $9 million that he's not going to get is going to affect his bottom line. So we have to watch these people who hide behind these computers and these anonymous people
on YouTube and Twitter.
On YouTube and Twitter, which are all corporate entities.
And they're not black owned.
And they're not black owned, saying stuff, triggering things and creating and stirring shit up, and yet they got to go to work in the morning and make $13 an hour. Please stop. Please stop with the craziness. And like I said, and I'm going to repeat it, both of them are wrong.
Right.
The NFL did not want him, which nobody addressed,
right,
to enough to me, and he does not want to be there. So they put on a pissing contest.
But my thing was, Colin Kaepernick had no leg to stand on.
Zero. Whenever you go to a job interview, unless there is a bidding war for your services, you have no leg to stand on. And that's any job you go to. You need the job. We are a multi-billion-dollar corporation with 10 black quarterbacks flourishing right now.
One is breaking your records.
One is breaking all kind of records. Niggas run around. So we obviously don't need you. You ain't Jim Brown, nigga. Right. You know what I mean? So you were an average quarterback. At the end of the day, you were an average quarterback. Mm-hmm. You had a run or two, but when all the smoke cleared, you were an average quarterback. We are a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. And there's you, right? So we doing Jay-Z a favor or whoever a favor. We're going to call this, so we can get rid of this karma. So the people can stop mentioning your name and deifying somebody who took a knee.
I think this past weekend, I think he kind of went to the well one too many times.
Who?
Colin Kaepernick.
Yes.
Because this time more than like the last previous times when his name came up, I feel like more people are starting to see like, yo.
I've been getting more and more emails like, yo, dude, I see what you mean. Like, because let's just, again, let's use common sense. If you want a job, you show up to the job in, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If not, then do me a favor. I want you to film, for you out there, you YouTubers, film yourself going to a job interview with your hat flipped back, your pants hanging off your ass, and tattoos on your face. And then when you get there, tell them you want to move the interview down the block to a Starbucks because you feel more comfortable moving it down to Starbucks. And tell me if you get the job. Okay, so let's just play clear here. And I'm going to say it again. If you are on your real nigga code, your street code, your, oh, we have been oppressed 400 years, black power code, these rules do not apply to you. Do not take it personal. Stay in the street and fight the beast. But if you are going to play the corporate game, know the rules so that you may navigate through them. And that's all Stephen A. Smith, who I do not agree with most of the time, is simply saying, dude, if you want the job, go get it. I wouldn't care what they put in front of me. My dignity ain't shot. I need the job. If he would have just showed up and executed, somebody, they may have already had a plan in place. So you don't know what the league had put in place to have a happy ending to the story.
Okay, it behooves the NFL to sign you.
Absolutely.
Shut everybody else up. We wouldn't be talking about this.
Absolutely. Right? Oh, guess what? Breaking news. The Ravens sign him as a backup or this and that. And he's on the bench and he's sitting there. And if he gets in the game, he do. If he don't, he don't. End of the story. It's done.
It's over.
The NFL looks great. He looks great because for his followers, he won and got a job back. And everybody, the niggas can be happy in the field that they convinced Massa to take this nigga back into the house at the end of the day. So I wanted to add a little bit of clarity and just ask you if you're really trying to get over this. First of all, it has no bearing on your existence. Your life ain't better whether he play or not. So start reducing things into your life that only help improve your life. Right now, we out here on YouTube, or if we have a sports channel, we'll toss a few ideas up, but that is it. Do not get consumed like this is a win for you. And your ass still got to get up at 4 a.m. and go to work. Who does that? Right. Only black people. Only black people will watch you out the window shoot jump shots for 1,000 jump shots at 4 a.m. Sacrifice your time hanging out in clubs. You know what I'm saying? Staying out of trouble, reading your books. Watch you become pro and then tell you you owe them some shit or you can't come back to the hood or you'll get killed. Only black people do that shit. Only black people. You owe us, nigga. What? Wait a minute. I was out there 4 a.m. I saw you in the window smoking weed, playing PlayStation, doing nothing. We feel we owed something. You know what I mean? And we got to go out and get it. Now, that has nothing to do, yes, white supremacy is real. As Stephen A. Smith said, he said if the white people catch a cold, black people catch the fucking flu, right? But you know that going into any job you go on in North America and beyond, you know that the structure in place is based to support white supremacy, unless you work for an all black owned company, right? Then there's buy black, but I don't hear nothing about sell black. Oh, what do you mean? Like buy black, I want to buy black, but I've never heard black people say, sorry, white man, I can't take your dollars here. Sorry, Chinese man, I cannot accept your Chinese dollars, right? So we sell black. I mean, we buy black, but we sell to anybody, right? Yeah. So when you have a corporation, you can't just think about one demographic of people. You're selling to everybody. And even if you selling fucking black bandanas, if a white guy come in there, you're going to be like, yo, how many you need, man? Right? So that goes to show you that you still have to cater to other people outside of your demographic, right? So buy black is one thing, sell black is something else. I have never heard anybody say, sir, white man, no, we will not take your money for this art piece I did or whatever.
Right.
So I just wanted to add that kind of black dot spiel on this. This is the absolute last time I'll touch base, just bullet points on the podcast tonight. I have no, because it serves me no purpose. You know what I mean? To continue to try to give you a perspective other than the one you're getting, or just to have you balance out the perspectives. Think about a psyop, a psychological operation where they're gathering minds and they got y'all all riled up and it means nothing. Meanwhile, the fucking real hearings with Trump is going on over here and shit like that. And your freedom, your real freedoms could be, you know what I'm saying, at jeopardy, and you worrying about if a nigga with a fucking flat afro is going to go back to the NFL as if that's a win for you. Stop that shit. This is the Black Dot. These are my chronicles. This is my story, and I'm sticking to it. Subscribe, hit the bell. You already know what it is. That's how we get down. Get these shirts.
Peace.
Peace.